Well, hello everybody. My name is William Porter. Welcome to this edition, the special edition of the Inspirational Book Club. This program is sponsored by Every Black Entrepreneurs Network. And we have a special meeting this time around. I have with me my wife Yvonne and my daughter Panya. They're with us, and you can see them in the picture. And also we have Mr. Les Bleemmaster, and I hope I pronounced your name correctly, Les. And he's going to come to us and tell us something that I believe would be very interesting for us to hear. We're in San Antonio, Texas, by the way. And you might ask the question, well, what's the reason for you being in San Antonio, Texas? Well, actually, there are two reasons. First of all, we're on vacation, and the city of San Antonio is known for several things. One is the Riverwalk, and also, of course, the Alamo. And Les will be coming to us and telling us a little bit about the city in just a minute. But the second reason why we're here is because of an event that will take place on Monday, and that is the Great American Eclipse. So we have a solar eclipse happening on Monday, and we're really excited about that. And you might ask a question, well, what is a solar eclipse? And Les will come to us and tell us what that is all about. So we're going to go ahead with, first of all, I'm going to see if we have a video. I have a video prepared, but as I said, Les, at the beginning, we had some issues. But let me let you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, and I will mention the fact that you're the program of director of operations, I believe, at Trinity State University in San Antonio, Texas, or maybe it's just Trinity University. And also, you are a part-time geoscience professor at the university as well. So go ahead and tell our audience what you are all about. And also, while you're at it, tell us a little bit about San Antonio.
Sure. Well, thank you for reaching out and inviting me to speak with your book club today. It was a pleasure meeting you, however briefly the other day, but yeah, it'd be nice to get to know you better. So yes, Les Bleemmaster. So you got it right. Not really a San Antonio native, but I've been here since fourth grade, away and back several times. So I do call San Antonio home. And Trinity is like a second home. I was a Trinity undergraduate in geoscience, and I'm now back as a professor and the director of operations for the School of Science. Everybody who comes to San Antonio as a visitor on vacation makes it one of their primary stops, the Riverwalk. There's a long history behind it. It's beautiful now. It wasn't always the case. But really, if we want to jump back 300, even 400 years ago, and even probably before that with Native Americans in the area, it's not surprising that San Antonio and areas like Austin and San Marcos and New Braunfels became hubs of activity and where people settled. And that's because water just naturally comes out of the ground. These are called springs. And so there's the San Marcos Springs, the New Braunfels Springs, and of course the San Antonio Springs, which actually pop out of the university to our neighboring university, the University of Incarnate Word. Some of the main springs are right under the football field that they found out a few years ago when they built their new field and it got flooded. But the headwaters of the San Antonio River starts right around Trinity University and flows to the south all the way to the Gulf of Mexico. And that source of water is what brought people here to San Antonio to stay. San Antonio grew. It is now the 7th largest city in the United States, yet it still has a small town feel. I think that's why people gravitate here. You get all the benefits of a large city, but it still feels like a town. Culturally very diverse, with proximity to Mexico. So we have a lot of traditions that span both the Mexican and American heritage and the Texas Mexican tradition. So back to the Riverwalk, it really had not, it was a natural watershed And in the early 1900s, it was thought an investor, an entrepreneur, came and had visited Paris and Venice and saw the beauties of those cities and wanted to make kind of the Venice of Texas, and had in mind creating a waterway that was navigable and had shops and things of that nature, even as early as 1920. Unfortunately, in 1921, there was a pretty large flood in San Antonio, and this inundated downtown San Antonio. So people were thinking maybe not a good idea to build up a really nice attraction when it's susceptible to floods. So over the 20s, people actually considered how do we manage surface water, and it went from being a kind of aesthetic endeavor to an engineering one, and thought to be a series of canals to help mitigate flooding and divert water around and through San Antonio. So in 1929, plans were approved to begin breaking ground on the Riverwalk. Come along the Depression, things were delayed, and things did not get started until about the late 30s and 39. It was completed in 1941 in some fashion of what it is today. It is expanded both to the south and the north, but it still to this day serves as a mitigation effort against floods. So the construction of both the Riverwalk and our Olmos Dam, which is to the north, keeps water from flooding San Antonio. The Olmos Dam is about 5 kilometers from downtown. It's just adjacent to Trinity University. And it actually serves as a break for water flowing through natural waterways. But they actually constructed a tunnel underneath the city, and it empties out south of town. So water is held back and then released systematically through these underground tunnels. And in 1998, the year actually I graduated Trinity and went up to Dallas, it was almost overtopped. They had just finished some new construction and expansion of that tunnelway, and if they had not, that dam likely would have been overtopped and been much more, downtown would have been in much worse condition. Pretty big rain that year. But today it is, again, a tourist attraction. Locals still go. Every time we go, we feel like, why don't I come down here more often? It's very nice. Christmas is nice. They have all the trees lit up. They have the river barges, so you can get tours on the river. And it's aligned with many restaurants, some good, some bad, and other attractions. And of course, its vicinity to the Alamo makes downtown San Antonio just kind of a fun, historical and beautiful place to see.
Okay, well, my family and I were down there today, as a matter of fact, and it was very crowded and very vibrant. We went to a number of shops and just enjoyed looking at the people, most of whom I assume were tourists. And so we'll speak to that a little bit about the vibrancy of the River Walk and how it's attracted people from all over the United States, as you mentioned.
Yeah, it is still a really large draw. When we moved here in the 70s, it was kind of the only draw. It was the thing that people came to San Antonio for. Since then, we have SeaWorld's moved in, Fiesta Texas, amusement parks, other museums. We've actually becoming quite a large tech sector for industry, not quite like Austin, but we're getting quite a few large players coming and moving to San Antonio. But the Riverwalk, I mean, it really, as you were there, it's peppered with just large and small hotels, Marriott, Hyatt, down to boutique type hotels. There's several theaters that are in close proximity, the Majestic, the Tobin Center. So it's becoming a center for arts and activities related to arts, music. I mean, the natural beauty aligned with kind of the Mexican heritage. We're about to go into what we call Fiesta, which is a 2-week celebration of the Mexican-American heritage and settlement here in San Antonio. It's an excuse to kind of have a little party, but it also highlights a lot of historical rituals and ceremonies that are important to both cultures. So there's the draw is the beauty, but if you dive deeper into it, don't literally dive into the Riverwalk. It's shallow and it's a little muddy, and I've heard not the most beautiful water in the world. But if you dive into the history and the culture, I think you see what comes out is just, again, a large city that has a small feel with a really strong tie to its 350-year history.
Speaking of history and culture, I believe, and you touched on the Alamo, and that's what the Alamo is all about. Is that correct? How Texas became a state? Is that correct, or am I off a little bit?
Yeah, the Alamo is one of several of the missions, and you can see many of the other missions further to the south of San Antonio. The Alamo is not in its original location. It's been moved a couple times. It's in its current location, I believe, for over a century. But yeah, the Alamo was a stand for the American Army against Mexicans, and it played a pivotal role in the transition from Texas being a Mexican territory to being purchased by the United States, along with parts of Arizona and New Mexico. I forget all the area that was involved with that, but I believe it was something around $18.5 million, which in today's dollars is still a lot, but not that much. But it was quite a penny back in the day.
Yeah, I want to let you know that way back in the day, I won't tell you how far back, but before I went to graduate school, when I finished undergraduate school, which was in Durham, by the way, North Carolina Central University, I got a degree in geography, and I wanted to go to graduate school to get a graduate degree in that subject, and I had a choice of Kansas State University in Manhattan, Kansas, and Trinity University in San Antonio, and I believe it was known at that time, if I remember, the University in the Sun. Am I correct in that?
I don't recall it. I haven't read all the history books on Trinity. Um, we are originally a Presbyterian affiliate. Just had our 150th anniversary a few years ago. We've had 3 locations: Tawakona, Texas; Waxahachie, in San Antonio. We came to San Antonio shortly after World War II at the request of San Antonio. The mayor at the time asked Trinity to. We were looking, but they asked Trinity to relocate, and it was built on the site of a former limestone quarry. So lots of geology connections for Trinity. Yeah, but the limestone there is the same limestone that controls our waterways and gives us our water source. Um, Trinity under the Sun sounds vaguely familiar, but I'm not. I don't. I can't say for certain that I remember that one.
I understand. I understand. Well,
But
listen.
we're under the sun now for the eclipse, and we have a really nice Trinity Tower logo with a blazing sun behind it. So in October and hopefully on Monday, April 8th, will be Trinity in the sun, or not sun for sure.
Yeah. Well, that's what I want to talk to you about as well, and that is the eclipse coming up. But before we do that, we're going to go ahead and take a break, and when we return, I'll indicate to you what our book club is all about, give you a summary of our present discussion as far as what we are interested in talking about with the stories in the book that we're covering right now. So we're going to go ahead and do that, and we'll be right back. Okay, we're going to welcome back to the Inspirational Book Club. This is our second part of the meeting today, and what I'd like to do is, first of all, welcome all of you as participants to the book club. Ms. Jones, Ada, I'd like to welcome you, and as a matter of fact, you're a new member of the book club, and we certainly welcome you, and of course, Pamela, back in Raleigh, North Carolina, and as I said, I have Yvonne here and our daughter Panya, and what I want to do is see if I can review a little bit about what we are doing in the book club as far as the stories we're talking about, and then we're going to log off as we usually do and log back on for part 2. So let me share the screen, and hopefully I have it, and I may not. But you all can let me know if you. Let's see. No, I don't think. I don't think I have it. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and log off. If any of you have anything to say or want to express, uh, and if not, uh, what we're going to do, and Ada, this is your first time. Again, we log off, and then we're going to log back on at 5:30, and it's about maybe about 10, 10 minutes. Actually, that's 5:30 Central Time, but you all are in an Eastern time zone, and of course it would be 6:30. So you're going to log in back to the Zoom meeting at 6:30. All right, but here in Texas it is 5:30. It's actually 5:25 now, but we're going to log back on. And of course, Pam, I'll make you the uh, person who will admit everyone at that time. And also at that time, Lee Bleemaster will be back with us, and he's going to talk to us about the clips coming up. And I'll try to have this PowerPoint about what we're doing with the story ready for you at that time. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and log off, and I'll see you all in about 5 minutes at 5:30. All right?